responding to Roman's affirmative side of the speech, in which Proposition 19 should be legalized. And first, he starts off saying that government's has been biased to get results against marijuana. And if it didn't pass in the first place, like I think there's a really good standing why the U.S. doesn't want this. I mean, the proposition wasn't passed, so I'm pretty sure that the people know what they want. And he also says that it neglects freedoms of the Constitution, and that's just been up till now that it was presented in 2010. Before, it wasn't even like an issue. Marijuana wasn't. Nobody complained that marijuana wasn't legalized. Nobody. There wasn't an issue. So why is it that now people are striving for marijuana and all these benefits when it doesn't even have a place? He also states that that if you legalize marijuana, it's going to keep the drug cartels off our streets. But Kim Rainey, the police chief at Covina and the head of the California Police Chiefs Association, says right now drug cartels control about 60% of marijuana market in California. But it is naive to think that marijuana cartels are going to walk away from the external market. Criminals are just if criminals see that they don't have an outlet for one drug, it is pretty reasonable to think that they're still going to be there. They're either going to find another way, another drug to sell, but they're not. It's pretty naive to think that they're going to leave and, cartels are going to be off our streets. He also states that police officers will no longer have to prosecute issues of marijuana to keep their focus in more important crimes. But in the law enforcement officials speak out against Proposition 19 in the American Police Beat magazine. Law enforcement officers state that law enforcement officers don't currently focus much in arresting adults whose only crime is possessing small amounts of marijuana. This proposition would burden them with new and complicated enforcement duties. This proposition will require officers to enforce laws against ingesting or smoking marijuana. So, officers today, I know this because I work in a police department, don't focus much of their time, on marijuana issues. But if it's presented that, you have to keep your eye on it and follow it all the way around, it's going to be more of an issue and it's going to be more complicated to follow this issue, to arrest, to make arrests, to make sanctions. And it's going to be it's going to have officers more busy than not. So officers are not really going to have time to focus on more important issues. And also, it is inconvenient that in order to measure marijuana, it takes a long process of blood withdrawal, etc. And they compare this to the easiness of keeping track of marijuana by alcohol, but that's not even the case. Issues of Prop 19 supporters, they say this prohibition also means that if you're in possession of marijuana that was gifted to you, if it was purchased from anywhere that other than a licensed dispensary, you would be illegally in possession of unlawful obtained cannabis, and you will be subject to punishment under Prop 19. And cannabis is the name of the plant, the marijuana plant. And what I was mentioning about keeping track of how much marijuana you have in your system. Right now, police officers have devices that accurately measure blood alcohol levels, which is a necessity to accurately charge subjects with a DUI. But with marijuana impairment, there is no such tool. So enforcing the law wouldn't be as efficient even if they wanted to impose it. also, they said they would enforce unauthorized spending, but most of the people, according to the statistics, most of the people that unlawfully consume marijuana are young adults, and young adults, even if it's legalized, right now that it's not a legal substance, they still get it regardless. So what makes them think that young adults are going to be safer now, even if it's legal? I mean, it's still going to be illegal for them to consume. So that wouldn't be very safe. Also, legalizing marijuana could cause safety issues, because marijuana negatively affects drivers' judgment, motor skills, and reaction time. It stands to reason that legalizing marijuana would lead to more accidents and fatalities involving drivers under the influence. So it's the same now. Since 2005, where medical marijuana was passed, there has been an increase in fatalities. But now that adults over 21, like any could consume it, it is fair to say that fatalities and accidents will increase. And also, the California Police Chiefs Association opposes Proposition 19 because proponents or advocates forgot to include a standard for what constitutes driving under the influence. So not only is this proposition isn't well reformed, it is not well written. So it's hard for people to say law enforcement has the facility to enforce the law when the issues or regulations aren't presented well for them. And also, Chief of Police Kim Rainey also says, why do we want to consider the legalizing of other intoxicant, and why do we want to make another classification of drive, runner, highway called a drug driver and put those people behind the wheel of a 2,000-pound vehicle? So that's what I'm saying if there isn't a big necessity of having marijuana, why have it in the first place? When if you need it for a medical issue, it will be provided for you, or you will be well legally provided with it.